Good morning. Well, it's a gloomy start to the week here in Mumbai, at least weather-wise, but the markets are looking quite buoyant. The equity markets here in India are trading with strong gains at the start of the week, and there are multiple factors that are leading to that positivity or optimism at the start of the new trading week. First of all, this is coming on the back of quite a bit of selling, especially from the foreign institutional investors from last week, and so perhaps to a certain extent you can see some buying coming in at the levels that we ended the week at on Friday. What else? There's optimism in the Asia Pacific region, or at least sentiment is better than it was last week, and that's on account of the fact that fears of a rapid increase in inflation have somewhat eased, and I'm talking about inflation in the United States, because all of that has led to concern that bond yields will spike very quickly. The Fed will have to come in and adjust monetary policy to account for higher inflation. So those worries are somewhat easing. Earnings is front and center. You had quite a few companies and a couple of major companies report earnings post-market hours on Friday. They're reacting in trade today, and also there is cautious optimism that the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic here in India is somewhat easing, that we've peaked, because in today's number, in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. this morning, 2.8 lakh new infections were reported, and no doubt that's a huge number, but it's still significantly lower than what we've seen as the recent peak. In fact, it's the lowest number since the 20th of April. As things stand, over 100 points higher for the Nifty 50, and the Sensex is comfortably higher than at 49,200, once again marching towards that sentiment boosting 50,000 mark. Market breadth is strong for the Nifty 50, 36 gainers and quite a few banks within that group, but top of the list is UPL gaining over 4%, IndusInd Bank looking strong, Adani Ports, in fact quite a few Adani companies are doing quite well for themselves. Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance, both up in trade today. But then you have the banks, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, all of them gaining between 1.8 and 2 or just over 2% in trade as of now. Quite a few financial names also doing well, but let me take you through the sectoral picture then. Apart from the banks, which as a whole, as a pack, is gaining about 2.3%, you have auto that is looking steady, gaining about 0.8%, but most of the other sectors are, well, more or less treading water at this point. You have the metal pack that is losing just a tad bit of ground, down about 0.1%. You have the media pack that is trading flat. IT is gaining about 0.2%. Pharma is finally cooling down, just about flat in trade as of now. The broader markets, the market breadth certainly looking favorable for the gainers right now. 1,300 or more than 1,300 gainers at this point, and losers of about 500 or so. And let's look at how the broader market indices are doing. They're keeping up with the benchmark indices, gaining about 0.9% each, the small cap and the mid cap index. From the broader markets, a couple of mentions. Shilpa Medicare up close to 10% on account of a tie-up for production of Sputnik V that it announced with Dr. Reddy's. GMM Fowler has been gaining very smartly over the past few sessions. In fact, over the past week, gains of over 10% for that counter. It's gaining in trade today as well. Adani, a couple of Adani companies that I mentioned earlier, Adani Enterprises, Adani Green, both up about 5%. Among the losers, you have Sterling and Wilson Power losing ground, Just Dial, Alkyl Amines and Aarti Drugs all looking a tad bit weak. Looking forward, you'd want to focus on Bharti Airtel. It's reporting numbers today, and apart from that, also watch out for the FI and DII data that comes out later this evening, because foreign institutions have been net sellers and quite aggressive net sellers in the recent past. Perhaps that is a trend to keep watch on.